Welcome to the Proactive Woman Podcast. I'm your co-host, Fran Marie, and I am here with the CEO and managing partner and host of the Proactive Woman Podcast. It's Joyce Palmer.
Hello, Francine.
Happy New Year. Pink is the new color of money.
That's right.
Yes.
Pink is the new color of money.
You made it through fourth quarter, so I need to give you a round of applause.
Yes, thank you, and I take it.
Yes, because you were doing Medicare enrollment consultations.
Health insurance, retirees, retiring at the end of the year, Christmas parties, family gatherings.
Yeah.
Yes, that all happened. And birthday, by the way.
And a birthday, so don't forget to say happy birthday in the post.
All in the fourth quarter of the year.
So if you go to proactivewomanpodcastllc.com, you can you can subscribe, you can get a consultation. It's complimentary because you've got workshops coming up in 26.
We do. We have our first, workshop series starts this week.
Wow.
Whatever week this is. Well, January 22nd and 24th.
Can you believe it's almost February?
Yep. January 22nd, 24th, we kick off Principles of Retirement. So you can start the year off with some fundamentals, Principles of Retirement.
Got it.
So definitely go to the website to find out the exact times and location, but it's the 22nd and the 24th.
Got it. So here's the deal. We need to reset.
Yes.
We need to reset in 26 because we got a lot of news in 25. Mm-hmm. We thought we had it all together in 24.
Yep. So, reset. The good thing about New Year, a new time, is we get to get a do-over. Sometimes things may not have played out exactly the way we wanted it to in 2025. Some things went right, of course, mm-hmm. but for those things that fell short, you get a do-over, you get a reset. And so when we talk about goals, what I think is important is to know that if you didn't reach your goals in 2025, or if you need to change your goals, it doesn't mean that you failed.
Thank you.
It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that life changed. And so our goals may need to change.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell you what, being a woman, I'll just admit it, I don't really prefer change. If I make a plan, I just want to do that one plan.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's true. A lot of people don't like change. Matter of fact, most people probably don't like change. And change is good, it's necessary. Unfortunately, it's a part of life. But it's not uncommon for people to resist change because mm-hmm. it makes you uncomfortable. It puts you in a place that you don't know, and so change brings resistance. But we have to make changes, and like I said, that's what the New Year's usually start out with: is what are we going to change? What are we going to do differently? What goals are we going to set for ourselves in 2026? So it all starts out with this uncomfortableness, if you will, about making some goals, making some changes, making some adjustments for the year.
So I've got one friend who's getting a divorce. I have another friend, her husband just got his wings, mm-hmm. all unexpected. So what are some things what's some trends? I know it doesn't change. Divorce will always be there for us.
Yeah.
Divorce will always be there for us. Retirement is inevitable. Mm-hmm. It is. Mm-hmm. But whether it's who wants to be a caregiver? Mm. We love our family.
Right.
But are we built for it? Some of the changes. And so we get,
So what I think is powerful, what's happening rather, is that financially, personally, professionally, we all are realizing that sometimes we have to change or realign ourselves with our goals and what's important to us. And so that's what this is that we're talking about now for 2026. How do we look at our personal lives, our financial lives, our professional lives, and recognize that we get a reset, we get a chance to set some goals, make some changes, and what does that look like? I think when I look at planning and goals, sometimes things happen that we didn't really plan for or weren't expected. Like you say, divorce and caregiving and being laid off. So all of those are things that trigger us to say we got to reset our goals, we get alignment again. And some of them come easy, some of them come with a lot of resistance.
Yeah, especially for baby boomers, I can attest to that. It's like, I don't want change. I just need to be the same. And I just want things to work out at the end, because we're all good people, but we are too dedicated to the 9 to 5 sometimes. We don't know when to leave. Baby boomers, we don't know when to leave. We don't.
That's it. Yeah.
It's like, stick it out.
Stick it out. Yes.
So the goals, like you mentioned, divorce, kids,
right.
They decided they're going to live their own lives, right?
Yep. So new goals. What triggers new goals? Like you mentioned, perhaps becoming a caregiver unexpectedly, or we all know that. I realized when my mother was aging that I was going to be the caregiver. So it wasn't a sudden thing. We gradually kind of got into it. But lately, I've had clients to step into that role, and it's been a sudden change. It's been a sudden situation where a parent or a family member has gotten to the point where they need a caregiver. So that makes you sit down and have a conversation about your goals, because now maybe it's requiring you to change your work schedule. Maybe it's requiring you to retire earlier. I had a client a year ago who had to change her retirement date because her mom got down and she had to become the caregiver sooner than she expected. So that could trigger a goal change. Retiring. Again, we have this great plan. We're going to retire this date and time. We're going to have X amount in our account. And all of a sudden, we get the call into the office. We're doing layoffs. So now you got to retire a year earlier than you expected.
And a year makes a difference.
A year could make a difference, right? But that may cause you to reset your goals.
Okay.
And that could be an adjustment, right? So now we've got to move our retirement date up or change our retirement time. Starting a business, that could be an opportunity to reset your goals, to change your goals. Having grown children leave the house and go off, and now you're an empty nester and you have all this new time, money, resources, so you may reset your goals for that. That could be an opportunity to reset your goals. So those are just examples where it could trigger resetting our goals.
Right. And it's okay. Joyce says it's okay if we reset. So because you got to think about it. Here's an analogy. So I'm always cleaning my closet because I'm always buying things. So that's a reset. That's a reset, right? As far as wardrobe is concerned. And by the way, if you're just now tuning in, this is the Proactive Woman Podcast. I'm your co-host, Fran Marie. We are here with the CEO and managing partner of JP Financial Group, LLC, and the host of the Proactive Woman Podcast, where you can get your complimentary consultation. Exactly. Many of us are in that position where we need a trusted source. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Yeah. So as we realign and we clean out the closet.
Clean out the closet. And it's okay when you're cleaning out the closet, again, if you've got to throw out some things like realigning your goals, because those clothes shrunk. I mean, that happens. That happens. So that could be a reason to realign your goals along with your wardrobe. because the clothes shrunk.
Yeah, because the dry cleaner used to do it. Now the closet automatically does it.
Automatically on its own.
And women work hard for our money. I think that's why we want to spend it so much.
We
All
do.
those clothes and shoes and responsibilities change. I know during the pandemic, okay, let's talk about change. I stopped wearing high heels.
Never me.
Look at that. That's some shoe cam right there.
I will be wearing high heels probably when I'm, I don't know, 80, 90 in the nursing home. I will wear high heels. That's just
what we do.
Change.
And Joyce will probably set up a camera and she'll have her heels on.
I will.
Yeah.
I love heels because it started out because I was so short, but now I just love heels anyway.
It elevates us, and that's where the confidence comes in. Wearing heels, confidence if you have money saved, confidence if you have the right vehicles. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, I know we can't mention names of clients, but what's a good story time? I know my story time was not understanding what retirement really looked like until I got there. Eek.
Right. So when it comes to goals and resetting, I'll share a story with a client that I'm working with currently. So a very seasoned professional, very great job with planning, responsible, accountable. It's done an excellent job. I like to say it's done more right than wrong when it comes to her planning and has accumulated quite a bit in her retirement. But she's in a very stressful job, a profession that's really high key, high level. And now she's feeling the need to reduce some of the stress.
Good for her.
Health-wise, she's feeling the need to be less pressure, less stress. And so she's revisiting her career path. And that's making us look at how she's doing her investments and her savings. Up to this point, very aggressive, very in accumulation phase. But now that she's looking at not retiring, but just taking some of the pressure off the table and kind of looking at her numbers, we're having to look at more focus on protection, preservation, versus accumulation. So she's shifting from accumulation to preservation phase before she goes into distribution phase. And so,
Oh, I like that.
That's right.
I like that.
Phases. So if you're in the accumulation phase, but you're not quite in the distribution phase, is that preservation. And so that's where our conversation led us to, is that how do I change my goals to align with not ready to retire yet, but ready to start taking some of the pressure and stress off the table when it comes to my overall picture.
Right, because I know we got Heart Month coming up, and women, we have to take care of the heart, and the stress is part of it.
That's right. So stressful work can be another trigger to make that alignment, to change your goals.
Right, because we have to stay healthy. We outlive the men.
We do. We still do.
Listen.
We do.
Men are our allies. We have to say that. Men,
That's right. We didn't say that yet today.
Men are our allies.
Yes.
So when it comes to JP Financial Group, I'm glad you shared that story, because when it comes to JP Financial Group, LLC, you have conversations with us before products are even mentioned.
Right, absolutely. It's never about the product. It's always about how you're feeling about your situation. It's about taking a snapshot of where you are currently, not where you thought you were or not where you want to be, but where you are currently. A lot of times I think we put these unnecessary stress on ourselves because, I wanted to be further along. I think I need to have more money saved. I wanted to be able to do this by the time I got to this point in my life. And so we have these goals and expectations, and sometimes when we're not quite there, we come in with, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. But first, we have to dial back and say, let's just talk about where you are. Not, I want to know where you want to go. That's fine. But before that, we need to talk about where you are right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where are you currently? Where are you emotionally, professionally, financially? Where are you with how do you feel about your situation currently? Yeah. Before we talk about anything else. And the last thing we ever talk about is products, because that's really, it's not the driving force.
Right.
Yeah.
You see the human first.
Absolutely.
See the situation first.
Yeah.
So, the first time I got introduced to saving money or retirement was a 401k. Mm-hmm. That's the only product I knew about.
Right.
And a lot of folks thought, well, I'll get a retirement after I leave here. No.
And it's funny you mentioned that. The first experience with saving was your 401k. I think that may be the case for a lot of people. Some were fortunate enough when they were younger, and you may not have even recognized it maybe as savings, but it was if you had a piggy bank. I mean, I remember I had a piggy bank, and it was pink, of course. That's probably what it was. It's a pink piggy bank. But I remember putting the money in, and I kept thinking, okay, well, this is fun. We're putting money in the piggy bank, and the whole thing, you're saving, you're learning how to save. This is the first step to reaching your goals. You save money. But I'm thinking, well, how do I get that money out of that piggy bank? So the whole time I'm putting it in, I'm trying to figure out how do I get it out, right? So that was my first introduction to saving. So, but for a lot of people, they may not have saved or had any type of knowledge or understanding of saving or investing until they started working and got their 401k plans.
Exactly. Yeah, I used to turn my piggy bank upside down. Let's get them coins out there. What's happening here? Yeah, I worked for this month.
It was much easier putting it in than it was getting it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is this still in fashion? IRAs. Are they still around?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Individual retirement accounts.
Okay.
Individual
Got
retirement
it.
accounts.
CDs.
Yep. Certificates of, we call them certificates of depreciation, but nonetheless, they're still around, and it's still a way to start saving.
All we have to do is start. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just start.
Yeah.
Insurance policies. That's a protection, right? That's being proactive.
That's being proactive. It is. Insurance is another. We could do a whole show on that. With I think most people get insurance out of fear, when in actuality it should be something that should be done as part of your protection plan.
Okay.
But most of us look at insurance, or a lot of times I won't say most of us, because our listeners are very savvy, because they've been listening and coming to our classes and workshops, so they understand insurance is not just about fear, it's about protection. But yeah, insurance is still a good vehicle to use in your plan.
Yeah, and can be done today. Okay, so this brings me to what can a woman do today, right? Because we can sit there and think about it and write some things down, but what can we do? Action
Items, right? We always want to lead with action items. So I guess we're coming to a little summary, Mabry.
Yeah.
So action items, or take action, is, well, first, I'm going to remind you again, like you said, to like the show, subscribe, share it with someone else that you care about, even share it with someone you don't like. You'll be blessed for it. Just share it. But then also check our calendar, because we've got some workshops coming up. We're starting our educational classes and workshop series that we do. We are big proponent of education, right? Learn and understand how money works. And the more knowledge you have, the more powerful you feel, the more confidence you have when it comes to your finances. So, and we make the classes fun, so it's not boring and stiffy. It's fun, it's exciting, you're learning. So that's the first thing you can do. The next thing you would do is kind of sit down and pull together your financial statements. Take the statements from the last year and have a heart-to-heart with yourself. You know, I prefer to do mine over a glass of Cabernet, but, you know, your choice.
Okay.
Tea, coffee, whatever. But pull your papers, your statements out, and just look at them. Look at what your 401k statement looks like for the end of the year, if you have one, your savings accounts, your checking account. Look at your expenses, credit card statements. You know, did you overspend during the holidays, whatever? But just have a real look at what your statements look like. And then from there, you can say, okay, now I know where I'm currently, and next step is, where do I want to go? Where do I want these numbers to go over the next year? And that's when we have our conversation.
Okay, because I would imagine, I'm not going to put any money on it, but I bet somebody has a statement on their sink, their somewhere. There's a statement we have not opened. Because what do we do to those? But we can't do that to yours because she has pink envelopes.
Yeah. No, I was guilty of that. And when I do my workshops, I often share stories. Some of them are, you know, my own personal experiences. Others I borrow from my clients. But I was one that did not open statements. I just didn't, because one, I didn't understand what was on the statement half the time. I knew I needed to be saving and investing, but, you know, what do all these numbers mean? Two, I know I probably didn't have enough in there, so I was like, I'm not even going to look. It's not enough. And three, it was out in the future. You know, I mean, I'm putting money away, but I'm not anywhere near retirement, so it's a future thing, so I don't need to look at it now. So I get it, but what I would share with you is by not opening those statements, you're doing a disjustice to yourself, because now you don't know where you are. You don't know what you don't know until you at least open the statements and start to understand what the numbers mean.
Exactly. We've seen all of our movie stars. Remember when we used to love movie stars? I guess we still do. But some of them would do their own, they would sign their own checks. They were really involved.
Yep.
And I think when we get to that point, maybe we do need help. But if you can do it yourself and you can see those statements and...
Yeah, you can open a statement. I mean, you may still not know what it means, but open it. Open it. And then we'll figure out what it means.
Right. And then schedule your clarity conversation. It's complimentary with JP Financial Group. Just go to jpfinancialgroupllc.com. And as we wrap up today, it's all about resetting and goals. And Joyce told us that we don't have to feel a certain way if we have to reset.
Right. It doesn't mean that you failed. It means life changed and you're changing with it. So you're resetting your goals. You're getting refocused. You're getting recommitted. And that's important.
A commitment.
Recommitted. A commitment.
I like that. Oh,
Yep.
Oh, can we play a game show real quick? Okay. This game show is called, are you being proactive or passive? Okay, we're going to do the bells and the rings and the dings.
Okay. And I'll say if it's proactive or reactive.
Yes.
Or
and then give us a little explanation, because a lot of times we're like, oh, what is that? Because when I saw a succession plan, okay, here it is. Making a succession plan. Passive or proactive?
Definitely proactive. Definitely. So business owners mostly are familiar with succession plans. As a business owner, you want to have an idea of how this business will continue without you, right? Or what it looks like when you're ready to walk away from it. So the succession planning allows you to, in advance, determine how the business is going to evolve. And I'll use my business for an example. At JP Financial Group, we are committed and focused to working with ladies. We love men too. But I want to make sure that mission, that passion for ladies first continues. So a lot of the succession planning evolves around how do we continually address the needs of women without planning, even if I'm not there, right? How pink remains the color.
The new color, money.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, next one. We're young. We just had a baby. Should we open our retirement plans? Should we start planning that and buying all the products? Or get a life insurance policy for our child we just had? Proactive or passive? Because those are two important things.
Yeah, so that would be proactive to plan for the child. Not so much insurance on the child, but planning for their future, their college, their funding, that kind of thing. So life insurance, it should be primarily on the income earner, not the person who uses the money, who sucks up the money, which is the kids. So insurance is used to provide a protection, loss of income, right? And so the insurance really goes on the income earners.
Gotcha.
Right.
But we still need a retirement plan.
Yes.
That's being so proactive.
Yeah. Now, the retirement plan is definitely proactive. That's even more proactive than the college funding, right? Because you can always fund college, but you cannot fund your retirement, right? You cannot finance your retirement. You can finance college. You can't finance retirement. So if it's between those two, then, hey, you come first, right? Retirement planning, then planning for college funding.
Put the mask on first, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tell you that when you get on the airplane, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
as we're traveling in 26 and
Yep.
doing all the things proactive that we need to do, we want to thank you for joining us for an episode of Proactive Women Podcast. I'm your co-host, Fran Marie, and we have our Joyce Plamer. She is our CEO and managing partner of JP Financial Group and the host of the Proactive Women Podcast. Happy 2026.
Yes.
Yes.
Same to you.
Yes. And as we always say, pink is the new color money.